Okay, wait 1 second. I'm trying to catch up to John Miney's manga count. The ambi goal of, like, what? 10,000 manga? Here I am trying to complete manga number, for count in middle school. Five? I do love, my dad got me this when I was in middle school. It was just a present he gave me. I love the novelty of going through things that my parents bought that they probably saw at the store and like, oh, my son loves Pokemon. And it was cool, you know, at the time. This is, when the Platinum manga was out. The year, probably get the exact date of when he got this too, like the exact birthday. He actually got this in high school, yeah, because Platinum, 2011. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was playing Platinum in middle school, but he got me this in high school. Yeah, that's it's cool to think about, you know, when your parents or friends, like, how to, like, piece the evidence together of how they might have got you a gift. Speaking of gifts, when my parents bought me Yoshi's Island as one of the first video games I ever owned, I am eternally grateful. There's just so much gratitude going on with buying me the best video game ever made, one of the best pieces of art ever made. It came out the year I was born, and we celebrated the 30th anniversary last year. I did a 100% playthrough. I've never done 100% all the way, and it was a ton of fun. The hidden levels were really challenging. It was like Kaizo Mario before Kaizo Mario, and I really enjoyed seeing how much effort was already put into a game that I thought was perfect, and then there was even more to it. And something that never gets old is Koji Kondo's soundtrack. For people that don't know, you've probably heard his music. If not, you probably don't live on this planet. In fact, you know what? There's probably aliens outside of the Milky Way galaxy that are getting frequencies of da-dun-dun, da-dun-dun. No, dang, turn that up. And you know what? If aliens come and they're friendly, I understand it. It's probably Koji Kondo's music that helped bridge the path to extraterrestrial relationships, new diplomatic solutions. Thank you, Koji Kondo. I bet David Wise is helping too, because I got Donkey Kong Country 2 it came out in 1995. I also got that as one of my first video games on Super Nintendo. And I think David Wise, Koji Kondo, some of the best composers of all time. And one thing I love is that David Wise ended up coming back to the series. He kind of pitched in some notes about Donkey Kong Country's returns, but he was the full-on composer for Tropical Freeze. And Kenji Yamamoto helped out, also a good composer, really good. And it was awesome, and I wish Nintendo would do that with Koji Kondo. Now, Koji Kondo, like a lot of the Nintendo veterans in Japan, they're a lot more like, once you reach an age threshold, you're going to retire just by the way the work industry works there, and work industry works there. I did not intend for that, wordplay, but the way the work industry plays out is definitely something where once you hit your 60s, especially 65, you tend to not really work with big corporations anymore. There are exceptions like Shigeru Miyamoto. Koji Kondo's an interesting case where he has worked less over time. I'm sure he's set for life, but what I appreciate is he still every now and then contributes music. Mario Odyssey had a few songs he contributed to. His last full Zelda game was Majora's Mask. And talk about a swan song. That and Ocarina of Time, side by side. I mean, the dude's killing it, and the dude wrote for Yoshi's Island, and greatest soundtrack in my opinion. The thing about Koji Kondo with the Yoshi series, so I love Yoshi in general. He's one of those favorite fictional characters. I main him in Second DK and every Smash Brothers game, and the big factor is that they're not only some of those favorite fictional characters, they're part of some of the best games ever made. They have some of the best music ever made surrounding them. And Koji Kondo played a big factor in that. Other Yoshi games I do love. I love Yoshi's Story. Yoshi's Island DS is really underrated. I will say this. The music is great there too. I have quite a few songs that I listen to every now and then from those games, and Yoshi games in general. If only they made a third Yoshi's Island game, that would be really fun. Maybe one day they will. I think that'd be great. Could have been good on the 3DS with the 3D visuals and the way the hand-drawn art style is. Maybe someone could retroactively make a 3D Yoshi game in the future. That'd be a lot of fun, and hopefully they can get Koji Kondo on board, at least someone that can respect a lot of the music that he put into the original game. So, you know, the thing that I love is that Koji Kondo takes the assignment seriously. And so, again, as much as I love other Yoshi games, I have noticed this trend where some of the composers, I will say Yoshi Crafted World looked great, but it really felt like the composer was basically given the paycheck and did what the paycheck was given. It's not that the music's bad, but often Nintendo as a whole is known to have composers that go above and beyond because they respect the assignment and the IP, the legendary status of the IPs, right? And Koji Kondo, I mean, that dude is his own IP, and so he, you know, the fact that Yoshi's Island, there's this split timeline going on where we could have had a game like Yoshi's Island where someone like Koji Kondo was not fully respecting his work and he might have just been writing to the paycheck. Would have got some maybe okay music, right? You know, maybe when you're going through the caves you'd hear like doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. You know, maybe a bit more ambient background, but not as big in the memorable melody department. Instead, we got, well, music that's playing in the background right now. And so the cave theme alone, I mean, talk about aesthetics. That is Mario music, Mario Universe music with a bit of a serious edge to it. And that's what I love, is that Yoshi can be kind. Yoshi's a kind-hearted character, and the world is bright and colorful. But there's so many times in Yoshi's Island alone where it gets pretty dark and sinister. There's a bit of a serious edge to quite a few of the songs in the game. My good friend Lake Gefeller played Yoshi's Island for the first time when we were in high school. And I got to watch him experience the game, and he too agreed that it is one of the best games ever made. And he didn't get to the final boss yet, but he wanted me to spoil the song while we were in the car. And so I played that kind of heavy metal, you know, final Bowser theme, and he was blown away, like jaw dropped. You know, we were rocking out, and then he eventually did fight Baby Bowser, and he won. And what a work of art! And you know, again, Koji Kondo, he respects the people he works with, and he goes above and beyond. And you definitely can just hear it, just like David Wise with Donkey Kong music. I think there's a recipe here for Nintendo still has Koji Kondo around. He's on speed dial. And so I would love for another Yoshi game to have him there. You know, honestly, I think there's a lot of potential for a Yoshi Donkey Kong tag team platformer that takes elements from both Yoshi's Island and Donkey Kong Country games. And get Koji Kondo and David Wise to work together. That is one of the greatest tag teams paired with one of the greatest tag teams ever. Yoshi DK, David Wise, Koji Kondo. And, you know, if you're doing things like the shadow stages in Donkey Kong Country Returns, you're bringing back the caves from Yoshi's Island, and then you're implementing elements of how when you would go underwater, you hear a remix of aquatic ambience. We're entering another galaxy now. Yeah, yeah, it's a new plane of existence. Yeah. Let's save Super Yoshi DK Galaxy for 10 years from now, maybe. You know what? Release it 5 years from now. You can start cooking now. Regardless, Koji Kondo is the example of just because something might be bright and colorful doesn't mean it doesn't have to be serious. And it's really cool. As a player, I felt respected. As a little kid, I felt respected. You know, Nintendo pushed for that kids to adults rating for a while, the ESRB. And Yoshi's Island is the perfect KA-type game. My parents love that game. My family loves that game. Anyone using their brain loves that game. And it's just like, it is in all ages. We respect anyone playing this game. form of media. It reminds me of a lot of Pixar movies like The Incredibles, Toy Story, Bugs Life, all these movies, you would think, oh, it's 3D animated, it's catered for kids. But there were so many elements put into those movies that only adults tended to get the jokes, or what the character plays are going on here, the dynamics of the characters, stuff like that. It's really important, and it makes everyone feel respected. And then when kids come back when they're older, like, whoa, there's new layers to this I didn't even understand. And Yoshi's Island is exactly like that, paired with Koji Kondo's work, and to this day people are wanting him to return, not just to Yoshi, but Mario music, Zelda music, Star Fox music. And so really it is, whenever you're tasked to remix his music, that's a big task to do, but I always have faith in people to do their best, and I don't want them to feel pressured. There's obviously a good amount of pressure so that you perform well, so definitely keep that, that kind of quote performance anxiety because you care, but not enough performance anxiety to where you overextend and start fumbling a lot because it has to be perfect. I think that's the recipe to Koji Kondo and David Wise's success. It's about saying, what's my assignment here? What is something that I can add to the atmosphere? In fact, David Wise has gone on record saying he wrote music for the environment. He didn't expect so many people to go back and actually listen to things like Aquatic Ambience over and over and then reference the name of the song, because to him it was basically like the water theme. But he's, that's someone that's humble and understood the assignment, did his best, and look how that paid off. Paid off to the point that, again, I hope David Wise and Koji Kondo come back for Yoshi and Donkey Kong games, and just having them team up for a game in general or a movie would be awesome. And definitely, I would buy that for the music alone. I love Mondays.